Just let me rest. Walk away before it's too late.
The lost one cannot hear you. She walks again the paths she forsook, wading through familiar darkness. Well met, my friend. Strange to see you beneath these noisy skies. I find I much prefer the quiet depths of the sea. There is a place in the depths that calls you. A domain both mine and not mine, lingering on the seabed for centuries. I have a certain fondness for it. I once helped it grow, yet from the beginning, it has been stagnant. Its beginning was your doing, Arthur. Now that you have returned, help it move at last. Quite so. Though it would do you good to show some respect for your king. It calls itself the Sanctuary of Saras. That is a name you should remember, my friend. After all, you would not be here without it. By descending into the coldest depths of the sea. How else? Do not fear. You will not drown. I will not permit it. But there, my part ends. What follows is yours to shape. I trust you will not keep me waiting too long, my friend.
Stay out of my way. Need anything else? Ah! You really did! Camelot didn't give you any trouble. Huh. Maybe there was something to all those tales about Norm after all. He always seemed so polite. Helped my Reese figure out the best way to grow wheat outside the repellers. It just goes to show you, you never really know your neighbours, eh? Well, here's the payment I promised, and some freshly picked veggies, too. And remember, whatever you eat is your own risk. If you're feeling poorly, don't come running to me. Got some fresh carrots today. You can eat your fill. Be seeing you.
Good day to you.
Hope nothing bad happens today. Oh, it's quite the lineup out there. We've got creeping shadows and gnashing beasts that start to lurk as soon as the sun dips. They're more than just ghost stories now. They're right on our doorstep, and they seem to get bolder with each passing night. And miss all the action? No way. The folks here are stubborn, won't leave their lands. They need protection, and I'm here to give it. Plus, I get to be on the front lines if anything happens. Take care out there.
You! Stop right there! Seems we have something to settle. You broke the law and pissed off a few people. You'll pay the fine, or we'll resolve the situation. Good. Let's hope...
Welcome to my corner of misery, traveler. Whatever brings you here, just know you're wasting your time. The weirdness is coming closer every day. Started in the deep woods, and now it's almost at our doorstep. Town's slowly emptying. All the smart ones left weeks ago. But now, even if you're trying to get out, good luck with that. The soldiers set up a checkpoint at the gate leading to the main road to Camelot. Now it's blown. They said it was a landslide. Or an avalanche. I don't know. That was one of the safe routes. The further you go, the thicker the weirdness gets. Swallows entire patrols sometimes. 3 Camelotian soldiers disappeared last week. Official story says desertion, but I saw what was left of their gear. Twisted like paper, heavy steel bent like it was cloth. Well, perhaps there's still some decency left in this dying world after all. You know, I used to be the best hunter in 3 villages. To track a fox through a rainstorm. Now, I can't even trust the forest to stay where I left it. Here, my old bow served me well for 30 years. Not like she used to me now with these shaky hands. But it might just keep you alive out there. The weirdness doesn't take kindly to visitors, but sometimes speed and a sharp eye make all the difference. Good luck, traveler. If you make it back this way, I'll still be here. Until I'm not. I hunted in those woods for 40 years. And yes, now the trees, they don't stay where they should. Animals speak in tongues. But the truth is, I've got nothing worth protecting. My heart, my flask, my memories. The weirdness can have it all. Might even be an improvement. Worried? I'm 58 years old. Lost my wife to the fever, son to the war, my livelihood to the weirdness. The world's been empty for me for years. The weirdness is just making it official. So I drink. Makes the show more entertaining while it lasts. Right. Off you go.
My, what a fine lad you are. Were I a touch younger, I'd consider running away with you. Reginald be damned. As you should be. I used to be quite the catch back in the day, you know. I didn't make it easy for Reginald to win me over, but he was always a stubborn man. It flattered me, that stubbornness. I should have listened to my mother when she told me a headstrong husband is just as bad as a lazy one. One does nothing, the other wants everything done his way. But I thought I knew better, and now, here I am. Every marriage has its ups and downs, especially one that's lasted as long as ours. We worked hard our whole lives, raised our children right. I had hoped for a little peace at the end of the road, but now they say the weirdness is coming, and my husband insists we stay. I know I don't have much time left, but there are better ways to die than in the fog. It is hard. I'm not saying it's not, but we wouldn't be begging for the kindness of strangers. We have a son in Burrow. He already wrote and said he'd take us in. But Reginald said no, and that was the end of it. Take care out there.
Huh? Who goes there? You're not from round here, are you? Whatever you've got to say, I'm not interested. I'm not going anywhere. Mora's always been a worrywart. If anything goes awry, it's the end of the world for her. And don't even get me started on the nagging. Everything'll be fine. It always is, in the end. Besides, we won't be alone. Reese and Ida are staying, and they know how to work around the weirdness better than anyone. And you've been through many droughts in your life. If you had, you'd know there's nothing simple about them. You just stand there and watch your crops die, praying for rain that never comes, wondering if your children are strong enough to survive this one. And the fat years aren't much better. You grow tall crops, and then you gotta strain your ears for straw children skulking around at harvest, until the weirdness can make work in the land any worse than it already is. Love? Nah, it's a shithole. All my life I've watched it turn into a dump, and it only got worse without Lordling at the helm. But I gave everything I had to this land. We've had good years, sure, but we've also had years when we went hungry for days so our kids wouldn't starve. The weirdness? Just another storm to weather. Everything'll turn out fine in the long run. And do what? Fart into a bench and mooch off my children? I'd rather die than become the kind of father who turns into a burden. As long as I can lift a hoe, I'll work the fields. And if I can't do that anymore, then what good am I? No, I won't become a useless old man. I'd rather keel over here and now. Good. Because I won't. And make sure it stays that way. Huh.
Just passing through? It's no use. Truth is, that's a fear we both share. No one has it easy these days. I'd rather our children remember us as we were, not as doddering old fools who showed up and disrupted their lives. If that means dying in the weirdness, then so be it. Thank you for listening. Not many young folk bother talking to old geezers like us. Give me your map. I'll mark where we buried a few things from Reginald's past. They're no good to us anymore, but perhaps you'll find them useful. Take care out there.
Come on. We can't sell Daisy. We're gonna need her.
What we're going to need is money. And she'll fetch a good price.
We still need to move somehow, don't we? She could pull the cart.
We have Clover for that. Look, I know how much this horse means to you, but I've already talked to Dinholm. He's willing to pay a lot of gold for her.
But what if we...
No, Gil. Enough. We're selling her, and that's that. If you're interested in buying a horse, look somewhere else. This one's spoken for. She'll be going all the way to Camelot. Yeah, they're doing their job. For now. But let's not kid ourselves. This is a delay, not a solution. We've got time to think, and that's about it. I've seen enough to know this place isn't safe. Staying means taking a gamble, and I'm not a fan of bad odds. We should leave while we still can. If it gets worse, we'll have no choice but to leave. I just hope we'll have something worth bringing with us when that time comes. That's one way of putting it. His farm belonged to our grandfather. My parents were tending it, but he was the one in charge. Both Ma and Pa died when Gil was still small. That left us with just dear old Grandpa. And he was a nasty piece of work. Drunk most of the time. Built like a barn door. That's something Gil got from him, I guess. He liked beating me to a pulp and telling me I was worthless. I remember he had this belt with a heavy iron buckle, shaped like a horse's head. He got it for his service as the master of horses at Warriors' Fair. Man, that one hit hard. Shame the old codger took it with him to his grave. I wish I could have kept it. So when I see some lowlife beating their kid, I could use it on them just like Grandpa taught me. What? Where the hell did you get that? A weird beast? So what does that mean? Grandpa got drunk, fell into the well, and got turned into a monster? Ha! That would have been rich. But strange. Gil swore that he saw him walking into the woods. Why? Do you think he saw something and was afraid to tell me? Maybe. He was acting a little strange, but... I was in bad shape that day, so I didn't care either way. I don't think we've ever talked about it afterwards. No matter. As long as the old fart's dead, I don't care how it happened. Aye. Truth be told, I'd be glad not to think about that old pisspot ever again. Though, perhaps that's what Gil needs to finally let go of this place. Anyway, thanks for this. And for clearing out the well, I guess. We don't have much, but I hope this will be enough for your trouble.
I hope that Camelotian knows what a treasure he's getting. Daisy's not just any horse. She's the best one he'll ever have. Yeah, it did. What else did my brother tell you? That wailing thing was Grandpa. Oh no. Oh God, what have I done? I didn't mean to. I swear. I didn't mean to. It was an accident. I was at the stables. It was getting cold, and Rob hadn't shown up to fetch me, so I went home. I saw Rob lying on the floor. He wasn't moving and he was covered in blood. And Grandpa was kneeling over him, just hitting and hitting. I begged him to stop, but he wouldn't listen. So I grabbed the iron pot and then he just crumpled. Afterwards, he was so still, I didn't know what else to do. So I dragged him to the well. What was I supposed to do? Tell him the truth, just admit that I killed Grandpa? I couldn't. I was scared he'd hate me. Right. I will. I'll tell him everything. I just hope he won't hate me.
I have no idea. The Menhirs were Merlin and Nimue's domain. I was mostly just relieved they worked. Although I've always felt an odd sense of familiarity with them. I think they reacted to the power we now wield. The Four-Dweller element within us. But why and how? That's beyond even my understanding. But tell me, are you well? You were unconscious for a while. Good. That's good. You're admirably resilient. You remind me of some of my knights. The ones who helped me to build Avalon. Never surrendering, never backing down. We may not have chosen each other's company, but I'm glad it's you I ended up traveling with. Well, the apple has fallen far from the tree. I don't see the air of Palamedes in him. His ancestor was a ruler devoted to his people. He was even capable of defying me when the situation called for it. I always respected him for that. And Yvain, I see a man trying to please everyone. That is the gravest sin a leader can commit. Decisions are never easy, but they must be made. I see that the current Lord is trying to delay that moment, and I fear it's his people who will suffer most because of his indecision. I know much time has passed. I just hope Palamedes' bloodline wasn't diluted by the carelessness of one of Yvain's foremothers.